Hi everyone, I just wanted to give a quick video on how I attach the limbs and the ears to the elephant, and then I will demonstrate how I put on the backing and do it by not taping down the limbs, as I found that it has gotten deformed or the fabric gets caught up and stitched down, and then I have to kind of do mending after I have the entire elephant put together. So here you can see I have a topping stitched down already. It just helps keep these stitches on top of the Minky, keeps it from sinking down, and it's very helpful doing it at the beginning. I do a stitch down first, kind of like a placement line, and then I put the nose on, and then I do a piece of the topping over the top of that. So it just stitches it all down nicely, and it's doing it so it's not getting caught into the fur. And then of course I remove all the topping before I put the backing on to make it easier to flip. I like this topping because it's just a very easy tear away topping, or it's actually considered a wash away. So if you have a bottle with just water, you can mist it and it kind of disintegrates and you can peel it right off. The problem with that is it makes the fabric and stitches kind of gummy until you wash the elephant, and sometimes you have to be careful tearing it off as it will pull some of the stitches. And you'll see right after I stitch this that I just tear away the stabilizer. And it's stitching the placement lines for the ears. And then it will do the arms and the legs. Okay, this is where we're attaching the first ear. I started taping them down in the beginning, but then it got to the point where even using the tape, it was still bunching and I didn't have a whole lot of control over it. So then I stopped using the tape and I just kind of guide it. And before I lay down the ears, I make sure that the edges of the fabric are actually in line and there's no pieces folded inside to where it would be doubled up. Again, I just hold it down in place, try to keep it as flat as I can as it stitches. This was the first time that I actually stuffed the ears very slightly. I've done the ears where they didn't have any stuffing at all, and that's cute too. It just, after a washing, they kind of fold inside of each other. And it's easier to see the placement line if you're doing a different color. But I've seen in the past where sometimes the stitches will show through once the elephant is together. So I started doing it the same color as the Minky of the color of the Minky body. So sometimes it makes it hard to see exactly where those placement lines are. So I just kind of go by feel and look. Alright, so here is where I'm showing, as I lay down the back piece, the left side of the arms and legs I leave laying out, and then I tuck in the right side. See how I leave it kind of sticking out? So I don't tape anything down. I'm just laying that top Minky, lining it up, leaving more fabric at the bottom, so when I take everything apart and have to sew it together at the bottom, I have enough material to be able to tuck under. So I usually cut my the back topping piece bigger than the piece that's already been embroidered for the body. So I just make sure everything's in place. As soon as I hit the start button, I slow my machine down to basically the lowest speed it will go. So I'm able to hold everything down as it's stitching, run my fingers along the guides to make sure that the arms and legs aren't being shifted underneath and bunched up like it used to do when I would tape it down. I would say this is the most time-consuming part for sure when constructing it. So again, everything on the left side of the body is still laying kind of open while the right side is tucked under. So I've got it halfway stitched. Had to change my bobbin thread. That's why I took it off. Put a new bobbin thread in. So once I go around that top, I try to lay it as flat as I can, but I don't want to pull it so tight to where it's gonna not give it as much fabric. So now I start to tuck in the ear. I tuck it under and then fold it in. I move his trunk kind of to the right side so I can fit everything in there really nice so it's not bunched up. And I kind of just use my fingers to lay down the fabric so it's not bunched while feeling kind of underneath, like it's on top of the material, but feeling underneath to make sure that the ear's not bunched up, that the arm's not folded over, that the trunk is not in the way, and still giving enough fabric to be able to stuff for the back so it doesn't look misshaped. And see how his leg is still kind of sticking out. That'll get tucked in under after I finish the arm piece. I found that when I was tucking everything under and taping it down and then trying to pin the back on, the machine was going way too fast, and that's when I would get all the needle breaks and thread breaks, and this way is just much easier for me. And I thought I'd make a video of it to show how I do it, and it may help you as well. So in order to get that left leg under, I pulled the right leg out. So he's kind of sticking out at the very bottom, but out of the way enough to where he won't get stitched in those last few stitches. And there you have it. Then I just check the seams and make sure that the arms and legs are in there pretty good. And that's it.